I dreamt of Genie last night, man. I had to come back after last night, man. Whew. I dreamt of Genie last night. I dreamt of Genie last night, man. I dreamt of Genie last night. Jeez. Yeah, I had a wild ass dream, man. That's why I couldn't wake up because I was dreaming. I had a wild ass dream, man. That shit was crazy. I lived a whole nother life last night in that dream. Yeah, I lived a whole nother life in that dream. That was a blessing too, man. That was crazy, man. When I woke up, I was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't even really realize that I had went live. That's how asleep I was. I was so asleep that when I woke up, I didn't realize. I was like, "Oh shit!" yeah, yeah. I said, yeah, I got to come back during the day today, man. I said, man, I got to come back today, man. Shout out to everybody from last night. He said, "You thought I woke up and then I went back to sleep." Damn, that's crazy. Yo, that dream last night during this show, that was crazy, my G. They got to come up with an app, man, where you can just like record your dreams and shit. That would have been a hell of a movie, man. I had a movie in my dream, man. I had a straight up movie, like a straight up movie, my nigga. You heard me? Shout out to everybody out there, man. I had a straight up movie, dog. That shit was crazy. It's like, wow. Yeah. Dog, when I woke up, I was like, yo, I thought I was the person in my dream. I thought I was the person I was in my dream. That's how vivid that joint was. I felt like one of them pods on one in the Matrix when they woke up out of them pods. I felt like that, dog. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Salute to salute to my bro TCT, man. TCT, man. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't get a chance to read his super chat from the other night, man. Shout out to TCT. Serving our country, man. And serving the Ock Nation. He's serving America and Ock Nation. Ain't that a motherfucker? Um, man, I was out, Jack. TCT says, my current schedule doesn't let me catch you guys live often, but best believe I'm still watching the replays and spreading the gospel. Ock Nation brings it on a nightly basis. Salute, man. Yeah, man. Salute to TCT, man. He said the Sinbad, the genie movie. I guess that's what it was, man. I mean, like I was so sleep. I didn't even listen. I didn't even know there was a show. When I woke up, I didn't know there was. I didn't know I had. I thought I had just been sleeping. I didn't know I had fell asleep during the show. I was like, dang. My phone was up. My wife had my phone, so she was like, somebody called you. I was like, oh God. I was like, oh shit. If I would have had my phone, I would have woke up. Because I'd have got the call. I got the call from one of the mods, man. I would have woke up, but I didn't have my phone with me. Wow. Wow. Salute to ED, Ed 209. Salute to Ed 209, man. He says, does Narcan work for turkey? Yeah, I had so much turkey yesterday. I ain't even going to blame it on the turkey because I've been falling asleep a lot lately. I ain't even going to blame it on the turkey, man. Even though I did eat a shit ton of turkey. I mean, I ate a lot of turkey, Jack. Yeah, man. Oh, man. We gonna get into it though. It was a lot going on. There's a lot going on, man. We gonna have to get straight into it, man. We're gonna have to get straight into it, man. Straight way. Shout out to TCT though, man. yeah, that's Tommy's slang at 209, man. He said it was a good show even when I was asleep. The vids kept playing. Oh, the video kept playing. That's good. That's good, man. That's good. The video kept playing, man. Damn, yo. I ain't even gonna lie to you, Jack. When I say I was out, I slept so good, I'm not even tired now. That's how good I slept. I slept so good that I'm not even tired now. So what happened to Brown Sugar? I don't know. Brown Sugar's in the world, man. Hopefully Brown Sugar's all right, man. Hopefully she's all right, man. Hopefully she chaps in, man. And lets us know what's going on, man. Hopefully does. Hopefully Brown Sugar does, man. We need a lot of people to tap in, man. A lot of people to tap in, man. Let me yeah, man. Shout out to TCT, man. That was from 2 nights ago, man. Salute to everybody that supported the channel last night. Let's get it, man.
A 17-year-old boy is shot and killed in Garfield Park overnight. Let's get to our Mugo Odigwe, who's joining us live with what investigators say happened. Mugo, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Jackie. A very tragic case here, only a day after Thanksgiving. Chicago police tell us that 17-year-old boy had multiple gunshot wounds on his body. So take a look at this video. This is video of the scene. We got there as Chicago police officers were still investigating. They tell us this shooting happened just before 2:30 this morning near California and Polk Street in Garfield Park. According to Chicago police, the 17-year-old boy was standing in the street when a black car pulled up alongside him, and someone in that car started shooting toward the teen. Police say he was left with multiple gunshot wounds to his body. First responders rushed him to the University of Illinois Chicago Hospital, where he later died. Right now, they say no one has been arrested in the shooting and that the investigation continues. We're live outside the 11th District Police Station. Mugo Odigwe, CBS News Chicago.
We're learning more about that deadly drive-by shooting that took the life of an 8-year-old boy and wounded 2 of his siblings. It happened on Swan Avenue.
Jesus Christ. I know we're going to hear about this from all the pro-blacks, man. I know we're going to hear about this from all the pro-blacks. Jeez.
We're learning more about that deadly drive-by shooting that took the life of an 8-year-old boy and wounded 2 of his siblings. It happened on Swan Avenue in front of a barber shop at the edge of Southern University's campus. News 2's Destiny Beasley describes what he saw.
A day typically filled with Thanksgiving preparation.
The fuck? The fuck is it? What the fuck? She ain't got no friends at that station, man. She ain't got no friends at that news channel, man. You know what though? I scratched that. She might got friends there, but sisters make everybody scared to tell, microaggressions and shit like that, and unconscious bias, and it's so much shit that they got with them, especially an educated sister like this. She probably got a couple degrees, mass communications and shit, shit like that. So African studies and shit. So like the white people was probably like, the white person was probably like, go tell her and be like, shit, I ain't getting called a racist. She fucking try to get me fired and shit if I say something like that. She probably like, yeah, man, I ain't getting fired for workplace discrimination and shit. How do you tell her that though, too? Like, think about it. Black women have set it up to where, like, how do you tell a black woman? Honestly, guys, how would you, if you're a white person, right? How would you tell if you're this guy right here, this white guy right here, how would you tell her about her hair? How would you do that? You go to Destiny's Mild. God, dog. Damn. How would you tell her? Like, what do you say? Hey sister, I can't even think of a way to tell her. I wouldn't say, I'd have just been like, I'd have told her she had something on her shirt. She'd be like, where? I'd be like, right there, you don't see it? I said, go in the bathroom and look, you got something on your shirt right here. She'd went in the bathroom and said, oh shit. How can you how can you tell her? Especially dealing with her hair and shit. They tell the Crown Act and all that bullshit. You violated the Crown Act. Damn, man. Come on, Destiny.
News 2's Destiny Beasley describes what he saw.
A day typically filled with Thanksgiving preparations turned into a nightmare for a Baton Rouge family. I spoke with the barber who did everything he could to help the children who ran into his shop bleeding and terrified in the aftermath of the shooting.
You can't really see it, but they still got shots like in the side of the building. Like that's right where we be standing at.
Detectives spent Thanksgiving morning canvassing the Scotlandville neighborhood, looking for clues in the shooting that took the life of 8-year-old Dylan Daniels.
Pray they'll never look at this time the same again.
Baton Rouge police say around 2:20 Wednesday afternoon, Cortland Daniels was driving a Honda Accord with 5 of her children inside when someone fired.
She was driving a Honda Accord with 5 kids inside, and niggas sprayed up the car. Ain't that a bitch? We gonna hear about this from everybody this week. All the black channels gonna be talking about this week. Ah, damn, man. It'll be a long week, and all these niggas gonna be making videos about this. Not.
Say around 2:20 Wednesday afternoon, Cortland Daniels was driving a Honda Accord with 5 of her children inside when someone fired more than 20 shots at the car. Daniels and 2 of his siblings were hit. The family had just left the barbershop when the gunfire began. It continued following Daniels as she made her way around the block and then crashed into a tree near the shop.
She talk about gunfire as if it... No, the niggas that was shooting. She act like the gun was just firing itself. Listen.
Under a cord with 5 of her children inside when someone fired more than 20 shots at the car. Daniels and 2 of his siblings were hit. The family had just left the barbershop when the gunfire began. It continued following Daniels as she made her way around the block and then crashed into a tree near the shop. The injured kids ran back into the barbershop and Dylan Daniels collapsed at Barber Braylon Canty's feet.
The little one that didn't make it, like he was sitting like right in front of me. I'm really like holding him. I'm on the phone with the ambulance trying to, get some further instructions. And I laid him out. They told me not to have nothing undone. I'm really like with him the whole time. I didn't want to leave him. His mom, she was upset crying. She asked me, is he gone? I'm telling her no, because I'm assuming like he's still showing signs of life. He's still kind of breathing. He still got a pulse or whatever. So I'm telling him he ain't got nothing to worry about. Then when I got the news, it crushed me immediately because I felt like I could have did more.
Canty says he hopes the killer or killers feel the weight of their actions.
Real men, or they have any type of remorse for a family or a mother, man, you shouldn't even feel like you should be out here on the streets living freely, knowing that you done took a baby away from their mother. You know what I'm saying? Right before the holidays. They come in here to get prepared to be with their family today on a holiday. Now they got to spend their days in the hospital, planning funerals and all that.
Canty says he wants everyone to feel safe when they come to the shop.
I want people to feel like they can be safe again. Might not be today, might not be next week, but I still want people to feel like they can come here and enjoy themselves and be safe and get fresh.
The mother shared on her GoFundMe that she gave birth since the shooting. Destiny Beasley, WBRZ News 2.
She gave birth since the shooting. So she was pregnant with her 6th child? Hey, man, that's crazy.
I want people to feel like they can be safe again. Might not be today, might not be next week, but I still want people to feel like they can come here and enjoy themselves and be safe and get fresh.
The mother shared on her GoFundMe that she gave birth since the shooting. Destiny Beasley.
Shit. The fuck? What the fuck? That's crazy, man.
Beasley, WBRZ News 2.
The start of Thanksgiving turned violent this morning on I-57. Two separate shootings happened within less than an hour of each other.
Requesting assistance with a vehicle involved in the shooting.
A call for backup after a shooting occurred on the expressway Thanksgiving Day. The first shooting happened just before 1:30 a.m. in the northbound lanes at I-94, where troopers responded to a report of an expressway shooting. The victim's vehicle was hit by gunfire. No one was hurt.
10-457 southbound.
Northbound. I'm behind the vehicle. I believe this was the one that was shot at.
While troopers were investigating, another also...
You from Baton Rouge, man? Oh, shit. We might have to go to Baton Rouge, man. Yikes. This Chicago, though, man.
The start of Thanksgiving turned violent this morning on I-57. Two separate shootings happened within less than an hour of each other.
Requesting assistance with a vehicle involved in the shooting.
A call for backup after a shooting occurred on the expressway Thanksgiving Day. The first shooting happened just before 1:30 a.m. in the northbound lanes at I-94, where troopers responded to a report of an expressway shooting. The victim's vehicle was hit by gunfire. No one was hurt.
10-457 southbound.
Northbound. I'm behind the vehicle. I believe this was the one that was shot at.
While troopers were investigating, another also happened in the northbound lanes of I-57 just after 2 a.m. near Halstead. Earlier this week, a man has been charged with murder in a deadly road rage shooting on I-80 near New Lenox. 45-year-old Philip Rogers has been charged with first...
He looked familiar for some reason. Why does this guy look so familiar?
Degree murder and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon in the shooting death of 30-year-old Lanier Clayton. Clayton's family went to Will County Court Wednesday to face the accused gunman. Clayton's sister Mia says the details they learned are disturbing.
Finding out that he shot at him 11 times, that 9 of them hit him and that most of them were in his back. It's sickening. There was no reason for it.
The Illinois State Police says there have been 79 shootings so far this year. Shootings are down.
And last year there were 129 just on the highway. And I bet it's all niggas. And the ones that ain't niggas are goddamn Latinx people, man. Salute to TCT, man. We're gonna do Baton Rouge, man.
Down compared to 2023. Last year, 129 shootings. This year, 19 shootings on the Dan Ryan, 15 on the Bishop Ford, 10 on Stevenson, and 7 on I-57 and the Eisenhower, and 2 on I-80. The Illinois State Police are investigating both shootings. Reporting in Washington Heights.
We're learning more about that death.
Yo, niggas. Savages, man. Savages, bro.
The festivities for this year's 51st Bayou Classic between Southern University and Grambling State began today with a parade in New Orleans. News 2's Joe Collins was in the Big Easy and talked to some fans ahead of Saturday's showdown.
Thousands lined up and down Poydras Street in New Orleans. People at the Bayou Classic say it manages to grow in size each year. With the amount of people at Thursday's parade to kick off the festivities, they say this year is on pace to be one of its largest ever. For many, the Bayou Classic is not just a football game. It's a tradition, an annual celebration of HBCU pride.
For my first suit was a Southern University suit, and this is my third suit, actually.
The battle between Louisiana's two biggest HBCUs brings people from all around.
It is super cool to see some of my students. I'm a professor at Southern University, Baton Rouge campus, and I just say go Jags.
The parade is a fitting showcase of both school spirit and the glitz and glamour of New Orleans culture.
Oh, it's an incredible experience to participate in, whether it's Southern's homecoming parade in Baton Rouge or in the city of New Orleans. It is the place to be.
Look at these black people, man. These nice black people, man. Give these black people a round of applause, man. They not cutting up and acting stupid, man. Give these black people a round of applause, y'all. You might not see it again this week during this live.
Floats filled with Southern and Grambling fans rode down Poydras, along with middle and high school bands from all across Louisiana, entertaining the crowd with music. In New Orleans, Joe Collins, WBRZ News 2.
Tomorrow night brings arguably the most famous tradition of the Bayou Classic, the Battle of the Bands.
I love to see that, man. Large groups of black people where nobody gets shot.
Thanksgiving Day started with a run through downtown Baton Rouge for about 2,800 people for the 38th Turkey Trot. But some participants needed a helping hand to cross the finish line. News 2's Sarah Gray Barr shares the story of Ainsley's Angels, a group bringing awareness to special needs across America.
17-year-old Daniel Manchester runs for Ainsley's Angels.
Been doing this for 5-6 years now. I love it. The only reason I do it is because of them. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be doing it.
Daniel runs because his brother Matthew can't.
Me and my brother Matthew both have the same disability, cerebral palsy, but he has it worse than I do, so he has to be in a wheelchair and a walker. He can't walk as far as I can.
For Landis Manchester, Daniel Matthews' dad, Thursday marked a return to the Baton Rouge Turkey Trot after 6 years. Ainsley's Angels had 4 athletes in this race. Landis got out to the race site earlier than most.
We got to prep the chairs. We got to put the chairs together, check air pressures, safety's first.
Both Daniel and Matthew crossed the finish line.
I'm going to cry, Today, as you'll see, all of my athlete riders will get out and walk across the finish line. Some can't, so we continue to run through the finish line for them.
Those pushing the chariots for Ainsley's Angels were pops of pink among the thousands in Baton Rouge's 38th Turkey Trot.
It's a joy to run for something else, somebody, that can't have that accessibility to get out and go run these 5Ks, 10Ks, whatever distance you want to do.
And they encourage others to run with these angels, too.
Come out and do it. The joy that you get is you can't pay for it.
Daniel says he's going to keep running because he's running for a cause he's part of, Ainsley's Angels.
It's about disabilities. Some people, they don't know what their disability is, so they sometimes make fun of them because they don't know what they have gone through.
In Baton Rouge, Sarah Gray Barr, WBRZ News 2.
Wow. Whew. Salute to them, man.
Denham Springs police identified the man killed after he was hit by a passing vehicle outside the Yellow Brick House restaurant on Highway 190 Friday night. 53-year-old Thomas, who was initially believed to be homeless, was instead living in a rehabilitation hospital. News 2's David Hamilton spoke with the family, left with a lot of questions.
Sylvia, the family was notified less than 48 hours ago of Saf's death and has questions about how he left the nursing home and why he hadn't been reported missing.
Wow. Shout out to Baton Rouge, man.
The man charged in the 5 Points South mass shooting and 2 other deadly shootings in Birmingham now faces even more charges, including the mass shooting in July and another homicide in August. Here's a look at the timeline of these crimes. According to Birmingham police, 22-year-old Damian McDaniel of Bessemer is responsible for over 30% of the city's homicides from July to September.
Yo, shout out to MILF Mandy, man. She said happy holidays, man. Happy holidays to you too. Listen to this shit, man. Niggas think they out here doing something. Y'all niggas ain't doing nothing. Y'all ain't got no motion out here in the streets, man. Y'all ain't bout it. Listen to this.
Is responsible for over 30%. 22-year-old Damian McDaniel of Bessemer is responsible for over 30% of the city's homicides from July to September.
Yo, listen. Yeah, he from Bessemer. But he be killing in Birmingham. He do his killing in Birmingham. Yo, listen. You ain't no street. Don't tell me about your street resume, man. If you this dude right here, homie right here, don't even tell me your little corny war stories no more, man. I don't want to hear them, man. Man, I told that bitch ass nigga, man. That nigga looked at me, man. I told that bitch ass nigga, man, fuck you, nigga. What's up? Man, that nigga said, man, he knew what time it was, man. Yeah, man. Nah, man. Don't tell me your little corny war stories, man. You ain't moving like this dude right here, man.
Birmingham police, 22-year-old Damian McDaniel of Bessemer is responsible for over 30% of the city's homicides from July to September. ABC 3340's Valerie Bell is working for you to learn more about these cases. Valerie, it's taken hours of investigating for police to piece all of these together.
It has, Megan, but the work doesn't stop there. Birmingham police say it's possible McDaniel could be connected to other unsolved homicides in Birmingham that hasn't been ruled out. Between July and September, Damian McDaniel...
Wait a second. He might be responsible for more. So the for what they know, for what they can prove, they got evidence. He's responsible for a third of the homicides, but they think it's more. Yo, man, don't even tell your little corny war stories, man. Don't even waste your time, man. Don't even waste your time, man. You ain't like this dude, man. What's his name, man? What's his name again, man? What's homie's name?
It has, Megan, but the work doesn't stop there. Birmingham police say it's possible McDaniel could be connected to other unsolved homicides in Birmingham that hasn't been ruled out. Between July and September, Damian McDaniel is charged in 5 separate shootings. Altogether, he's accused of killing 11 people and injuring 20.
Yo, that's a light 3 months, man. Damian McDaniels, man. Damian. Shout out to my man Ray Wall, man. In the building. He said, what's good? I hope you and the fam had a great Thanksgiving. Glad you're on early today. Yeah, man. Salute to you too, man. I had a lot of tryptophan the other day, man. That tryptophan ain't no joke, man. Whew. I ain't gonna lie to you. God. Yo. 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 Homie different, man. Homie different. Homie different right here, man. Yeah, this the Juice Crew fault, man. You know that. I just gotta play this again, man. Homie is different.
hasn't been ruled out. Between July and September, Damian McDaniel is charged in 5 separate shootings. Altogether, he's accused of killing 11 people and injuring 29 others.
I feel like people like that need to be put away.
The deadly streak of crimes he's
put away. That nigga need to be lynched, tarred and feathered. He need to be drawn and quartered. That nigga need to, they need to tar and feather him, draw and quarter him, and then burn each quarter again. Black people are so understated at the wrong time. Black people be over the top at the wrong time and then understated when it's necessary. Press 1.
Between July and September, Damian McDaniel is charged in 5 separate shootings. Altogether, he's accused of killing 11 people and injuring 29 others.
I feel like people like that need to be put away.
The deadly streak of crimes he's accused of started July 13th. It was at a venue ABC 3340 later discovered was unlicensed.
It's all right to make $1, but why should you make $1 you killing the neighborhood? This is my neighborhood.
The aftermath, blood on the streets, and anger and sadness in the community.
It's a shame. We got women dead now.
4 people were killed. 10 others were injured at that birthday party event.
Angie, I love you.
And everybody he killed at this one was a woman. He just fired into the building and killed a bunch of women that had nothing to do with it. 4 women that had nothing to do with it.
And anger and sadness in the community.
It's a shame. We got women dead now.
4 people were killed. 10 others were injured at that birthday party event.
Angie, I love you. Monique, my heart goes out to you. This sad.
According to police, McDaniel didn't act alone in this deadly mass shooting. 27-year-old Hatarius Woods was also indicted in this case.
Hatarius Woods. Yo, my man is different. My man he did a whole King Von. He did 2 King Vons in 3 months. Y'all think, listen, that's why I say, man, don't tell your little corny war stories. Save your little corny war stories, man. I don't want to hear it, man. You ain't Darian McDaniel, whatever his name is.
In this case,
Birmingham is most definitely a safer place with these individuals behind bars.
McDaniel was also indicted for capital murder again and burglary for an incident that happened a month later. Woods is also charged in that case. It involved a stolen vehicle, a man killed in an apartment, officers firing shots at the suspect, and a chase.
Very chaotic scene.
McDaniel is also accused of killing a 35-year-old woman. Police didn't believe she was the intended target when she was shot inside 604 bar on.
So that's 5 women he killed that he unintentionally killed. Out of those 11 people, so far we know 5 of them were women that had nothing to do with it, that were innocent bystanders.
September 19th.
We are very deeply saddened by what happened.
A few days later, 100 shots rang out on a Saturday night in 5 Points South, a popular nightlife spot.
So probably about 5 or 6 that went out on the stretcher that I saw.
This.
I'm sure it was probably more.
We covered this. It took them a long time for people to come forward.
4 people were killed. 17 others were injured.
I had to get out.
One of them was a woman. So what's that? 5, 6 of his 11 bodies were women who were innocent bystanders. Because the girl who got killed that night downtown, she was an innocent bystander too. This nigga killed 6 innocent women in those 3 months.
Out of there, so I was hopping on one leg.
Less than 24 hours later, dozens of rounds went off in Eastlake, killing a man and injuring 2 others. McDaniel has already had his first court appearance for that. 4 others were also charged in connection to that incident.
Just for y'all that's just tuning in, man. Just for y'all that's just tuning in. That Negro killed 11 people and injured 29 in 3 months. For those of you that's just tuning in, he killed 11 people and injured 29 others and of the ones that we know of, 6 of them were women who were innocent bystanders. My God. Leave you speechless, man.
One leg.
Less than 24 hours later, dozens of rounds went off in Eastlake, killing a man and injuring 2 others. McDaniel has already had his first court appearance for that. 4 others were also charged in connection to that incident. As for the motive behind all these deadly shootings McDaniel is accused of, police aren't laying that out on the table yet.
We most certainly are investigating some of these homicides as actual pay-for-hire murders.
Court records show McDaniel pleaded guilty to 2 cases of attempted murder in 2023, receiving a sentence of 15 years split, 2 years to serve, with 3 years on probation. We've reached out to the DA's office asking about McDaniel's release and what, if anything, will be done in the future to keep violent offenders behind bars.
As far as them walking the streets and all of the evidence appears that they did it, then no good.
McDaniel remains in the Jefferson County Jail with no bond.
I feel safer for the community and especially the youth.
Jeez. Jeez. Salute to Abe the Hunter, man. He says, nice time, bro. What's the status on the music? Yeah, I haven't gotten to get any music this year, man. It's been so hectic, man, with 2 kids and whatnot. It's been hectic. I got a song that I'm working on that I need to get. I got everything set up for it. I just gotta get with my producer. Probably gonna come out next year, man. Salute, man. Thanks for asking. Salute to Cyrus Rivas. He said, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good time. Yeah, man. The family was here, man. Me and the kids and their grandmother, my wife. Wonderful good time. Salute to Louis Burry. Says, will he be counted as a serial killer? I don't think so, man. It's gang violence. They're gonna call it gang violence, even though he killed 6 women in the 5 shootings. He killed 6 innocent bystander women. And of the other 5 shootings, and the other 29 people that he wounded, I don't know how many of them were innocent. I bet a lot of them were innocent too. And all of these homicides were in public. All 5 of the shootings he did in that 3-month period were in public. And they think he may have done more. They think they still think he may have done more.
It has, Megan, but the work doesn't stop there. Birmingham police say it's possible McDaniel could be connected to other unsolved homicides in Birmingham that hasn't been ruled out. Between July and September, Damian McDaniel is charged in 5 separate shootings. Altogether, he's accused of killing 11 people and injuring 29 others.
I feel like people.
Line of these crimes. According to Birmingham police, 22-year-old Damian McDaniel of Bessemer is responsible for over 30% of the city's homicides from July to September. ABC.
Yo. And especially the youth.
Police have also pointed out that tips from people in the community have helped. As they continue to investigate, they ask anyone with any additional information about these cases to contact them. Live in Birmingham, Valerie Bell.
Jeez. Christ.
A grandmother is behind bars after attacking family members on Thanksgiving Day in Southwest Memphis. Good evening. I'm Mandy Rock. Daryl Green and Darcy Thomas have the evening off. This all happened on Delta Road around 3 this afternoon. Fox 13 Sierra Jordan breaks down the moments leading up to this incident.
Police say a grandmother stabbed 2 of her family members after a verbal argument happened inside their home on Delta Road. The neighbors I spoke with were shocked to find crime scene tape blocking off their street as they were celebrating Thanksgiving with their loved ones.
And it's just kind of unfortunate to have to go through this on Thanksgiving Day.
James Stevens and his family were enjoying their Thanksgiving Day meal until they were interrupted by the sound of sirens coming from outside.
And we come outside to see all the yellow tape around. Got the street blocked off down there.
Those sirens were police responding to an aggravated assault at a home on Delta Road just after 3 p.m. Police say a woman and her mother were arguing about various things, including the suspect pushing her son. Then police say the grandmother attacked her with a knife she got from the kitchen. The victim suffered abrasions to her left hand. Just moments later, the suspect then struck her grandson with a knife in his left hand near his thumb. That is when the grandmother ran away from the scene before officers arrived.
The violence around Memphis is still very high. You have to watch yourself on every corner and right here in our own home and neighborhoods. Family getting together, family, friends, feasting. Never this.
Now, Memphis police say the grandmother was heavily intoxicated and possibly drinking at the time of the incident. They say she is now in custody. In Memphis, Sierra Jordan, Fox 13 News.
All right.
Man. Gee.
What looks to be a relaxing day on the front porch for Dorothy Jackson is anything but. She's spending this Labor Day waiting to learn what's next for her husband and daughter who were arrested Sunday night.
It started as a mustard seed, but ended up as a mountain.
Words turning into weapons being pulled is what was detailed in a police report. But Mrs. Jackson says that was not the case, which is why she is talking.
I am a church person, and he after me, and he's doing it through my family.
Mrs. Jackson's husband, Eugene, and her daughter, Monica Dillon, are both charged with assault, accused of threatening a woman at the home. Mrs. Jackson says things spiraled out of control following an allegation of drug use by someone at the house.
There's no mystery. There's no make them do all kinds of it's stuff.
But the woman who filed the report instead claims threats were made before a gun was pulled.
The devil started it. He took the tongues in their mouth and set everything on fire.
As you heard Mrs. Jackson saying, the devil has been busy, but she has been even busier. She tells us trying to sort everything out. She's also saying that she's hopeful she'll find a way to bring an end to what has been an ongoing family feud. While at the home, a call came in from the jail. Eugene was on the line, but quickly had to go.
All right.
Can I call y'all right back? A return call never came, but what has returned is renewed hope.
Yes, ma'am. That's all I can say, Mr. Rita, because the love is strong.
That troubled relationships can be repaired and rebuilt. In South Memphis, Sharita Patterson, WREG, News Channel 3.
Man, niggas leave you speechless. Oh, that's what I wanted to do.
What looks to be.
I wanted to just show this one.
A grandmother is.
Thanksgiving will never be the same for one Fort Worth family after a husband and father of two was found dead in his driveway. The discovery happened on Davis Avenue near Mississippi Avenue. The widow of Oscar Beto Lopez says he was killed by a neighbor upset over his loud music. Meredith Yeomans has the story.
Yo, those damn burritos with that loud music, man. I could see somebody killing one of them over that shit, man. Them Dominicans, man. All of them, Mexicans, all of them like loud music. I don't know whether they got something with their ears. Like if you Mexican, like they got like desensitized ears or something. I don't know what the fuck it is, but
Meredith Yeomans has the story.
It's supposed to be a happy time, and I can't be happy right now.
Tragedy at Thanksgiving time for the Fort Worth family who lives in this Davis Avenue home.
Coming next year, the year after, I don't know what day, but at some point, Thanksgiving is going to fall on the day of his death.
Amanda Fernicola says her husband, 26-year-old Beto Lopez, returned home with food for his family Sunday night when gunshots were heard outside the home. She says she saw his truck, but not him.
So I walk out the back door while calling him, and as I'm walking up to the truck, I can see his legs on the ground. And I really, for some reason, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think it was real.
Fort Worth police say Lopez was found dead in the driveway and that the suspect, Caspian Swinney, was seen leaving a nearby home and...
Glider whacked his ass. Glider was like, man, tired of all that loud ass music in my neighborhood. That glider was like, I'm tired of all this loud ass music in my neighborhood, man. Let me drop the link, man. Let me drop the link, man. Glider was like, man, shit, man. Go back to your... He could have waited. If you could have waited till January, man, maybe they would have picked him up. Maybe the ICE would have picked him up, man. You gliders, man, be jumping the gun, man. Shout out to Big Larry, man. Big Larry doing big things, man. You could have waited till you could have waited a few months and ICE would have picked this dude up, man. You done threw your life away, white man. Jumping the gun, man. Gotta be patient, man. You gotta be patient, man. Let me take my ass down in the basement, man. Let me take my ass down in the basement, man.
Detained. Detectives say Lopez and Swinney got into a verbal, then physical fight when Swinney fired a handgun multiple.
Yeah, man. Let me start this back here.
Next year, the year after, I don't know what day, but at some point, Thanksgiving is going to fall.
Thanks. And a widow in disbelief that her husband
up to the truck, I can see his legs on the ground. And I really, for some reason, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think it was real.
Fort Worth police say Lopez was found dead in the driveway and that the suspect, Caspian Swinney, was seen leaving a nearby home and detained. Detectives say Lopez and Swinney got into a verbal, then physical fight when Swinney fired a handgun multiple times.
When they tell you that saying about screaming bloody murder, that is literally what I did that night. That is literally, I screamed and screamed and screamed.
Nicola says her surveillance cameras captured the moments before the shooting when Lopez pulled into the driveway for the final time.
The videos, you can hear the music and eventually you turn it off. And if you listen closely enough, it sounds like he said, "Can you turn it down?"
She says Swinney.
Yeah, that is rude, though, to come home at night blasting music. They do that shit. A lot of motherfucking Latinos do that shit. Like, they pull up any time of the morning, any time of the night. I'm not talking about just blasting. I'm talking about blasting music. That shit be so fucking loud. You wonder how they could be in the car. You wonder, like, how are you in the car? How can you be in a car and listen to that shit?
He had complained about loud music in the neighborhood before.
He got upset about our music on my birthday. So that was when I found out that it was our neighbor, that's what I believe it was.
Lopez leaves behind a 5-year-old son, a 3.5-month-old son, and a widow in disbelief that her husband isn't coming home. In Fort Worth, Meredith Yeomans, NBC5.
Swinney is in the Tarrant County Jail charged with murder. His attorney has not yet responded to our requests for comment.
Tonight, police are still searching for the person who shot 16-year-old Colin Brown. The teen was hit by a bullet during a drive home from a hockey game on I-55 in South City.
And in the midst of this tragedy, a St. Charles County woman finding herself in the right place at the right time. What came next is truly heroic. Only our Caroline Hecker introduces you to the woman who helped give Colin a fighting chance.
As hundreds of people enjoyed their Saturday night in downtown St. Louis, Lily Panowski was one of them. Out celebrating a friend's 21st birthday, she was sitting on a party bus after a snack run.
On our way back from the gas station, we had stopped at a light and we heard somebody screaming for help.
The bus was stopped at South Broadway in Walnut, the same intersection where police say Colin Brown's father pulled over after Colin was shot on Interstate 55 minutes before.
I jumped out and we came up to this guy standing outside the passenger seat with another guy sitting in the passenger seat, and he was kind of holding his neck and he said, "My son has just been shot."
What he did not know is that Lily is an EMT. In fact, she graduated from Respond Right.
A real EMT, not a fake one like Breonna Taylor, man. A real EMT.
Fact, she graduated from Respond Right EMS Academy less than a month ago.
And I did not find a pulse, and so I told him, we need to start CPR. And so we got him right out of the passenger seat and put him on the ground and started CPR.
Lily says she performed CPR for 10 minutes before another Good Samaritan stepped in and relieved her. Together, they performed CPR for 10 more minutes, while Colin's dad kept pressure on his wound.
All I could think of was just keep going. And, that's what he needed was a pulse, whether we did it for him or he could do it on his own.
The city's 911 dispatch call log confirms Lily's timeline. At 10:36, a 911 call is made. At 10:38, St. Louis Fire Department and EMS are assigned to the call. At 10:40, both report being staged and ready. At 10:46, St. Louis police secure the scene. Then at 10:50, the fire truck arrives. And at 10:52, 16 minutes after the 911 call, the ambulance arrives and takes Colin to the hospital. Lily says her training kicked in the second she stepped off the bus, despite not knowing what she was walking into.
hearing somebody scream for help like that, there was no time to sit and worry or second guess myself. You know, I kicked right into action and it all just came to me.
Colin continues fighting for his life, but Lily is grateful she was able to help give him.
Who shot him?
That fighting chance.
Just looking back on it, I'm glad, like I'm so glad that I was there to kind of just take over and do the best for this kid that we could do in that moment.
In St. Peter's, Caroline Hecker, First Alert.
What's happening, man?
Yo, what up, Arch? Yo, bro, before you fell asleep last night, you were on fire. I forget what you were saying, but I was like, man, he's spitting.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, I don't know. I didn't go back and look at it because I don't know when I fell asleep. But I know when I woke up, I had a dream. Like, it was like a labyrinth. I had a novel dream. It was like a goddamn, yeah. Like,
were you a crusader hunting down these violent, debaucherous, abhorrent, wicked men?
It was just living a life, the Sunman life. It's just a regular Sunman life, but it wasn't the life. It wasn't my life. It was like another life. That shit was crazy.
Atlanta police are looking for a man who attacked a tour.
I like what you did last night, though, a lot, actually, where you did a quick clip of the sister saying this, like, this delusional shit about, the white man. It's the hoodie. It's the hoodie. And then the next video of the news was, like, a bunch of teens, ironically, in hoodies, hurting people violently. Ironically.
Yeah, man. Them sisters, man, should have never gave them degrees, man. They don't know what to do with them joints, man.
Atlanta police are looking for a man who attacked a tourist in front of the World of Coke for no apparent reason.
It happened in the middle of the day with a lot of people watching. Fox 5's Angelique Proctor has the story you'll only see here on Fox 5.
The 53-year-old victim is not yet ready to talk about her violent encounter, but her husband is speaking out about the unprovoked attack that happened right here in front of the World of Coke.
We're just going to pray there's no surgery needed.
Tim Griffiths is still having a hard time coming to grips with what happened to his wife. The 53-year-old came to Atlanta as a chaperone for the sixth graders at Calvary.
Atlanta? Oh, man. Damn, white man. You got to eat that. Well, a black dude that ran up and put your wife in the hospital and shit. And you got to act like, you know what I'm saying? You got to act like you're not mad because that'll be racist. But I thought Woke died, man. I'm waiting for the first white dude to be like, man, this shit fucked up, man. There's something wrong with these people, man. These black people keep doing this shit.
Man, this headline right here, really take it in. Let it sizzle your spirit. How fucked up of a headline is this, bro?
Telling you, man, it's just sad that not only can they not say nothing about it, but no one has sympathy. Like everybody else is like, all right, you been. Everybody else is thinking, well, not everybody, but liberals are thinking like, you better not say nothing about the black dude that did it. We watching you. Be careful how you talk about the black dude who did it. It's like, damn, they wonder why they lost, man. Jesus Christ. Hey.
A hard time coming to grips with what happened to his wife. The 53-year-old came to Atlanta as a chaperone for the sixth graders at Calvary Day School in Savannah. The area on Baker Street was already decorated for the holidays. Mrs. Griffiths was walking there with one of her sixth grade students and a parent when the unthinkable happened.
This person just appeared, happened so fast. No conversation, no words. He just came out and hit her in the jaw, broke her. So she has multiple broken bones in her jaw.
The unprovoked attack.
Yeah, man, you can't hit a woman in the fucking jaw, man. You know what I'm saying, Wicked? Like, they're not built to take that. They built to take a hit from a woman.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
What about a sister? Can a sister take a hit like that, you think?
Nah, I'm a son, man. Sister can't take it either. But she could take it better. She can take it better than the guy.
I feel like, and I don't want to be bogus, but I feel like a solid sister could take a strong hit from a tiger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From
Not a son
tiger.
man, though. Not a son man.
No. I think that like an average sister could take a good hit from an average tiger man. And what about Glider King? What do you think? No?
Yeah, no, I
The
think
gliders are big. The gliders are big themselves, though.
yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that like not looking like now if the sister's like looking or she's up in your face and yada yada, maybe. But she's still gonna do damage. But like just standing there, do thinking about some shit and bam, just out of nowhere, somebody clobber you. Oh nah, I can't avoid that. You know what I'm saying? Like just not even flinch. You only get a chance to flinch.
I mean, look, shit like this makes me wonder, like, yeah, maybe we do need fathers in the home to teach these clowns how to be a gentleman.
She has multiple broken bones in her jaw.
The unprovoked attack happened in broad daylight at 11:30 in the morning with lots of people around.
She was not unconscious, went to the ground, hit her head, and then the EMTs came.
Mrs. Griffiths was rushed to Grady Hospital.
She's in the ambulance when she calls me.
The perpetrator ran off, but there are lots of...
Look how they try to be slick. They try to show black people when they talk about the perpetrator. The perpetrator ran off.
That's the best they got, though. It's the best they could do.
Yeah, they dropping clues. They dropping breadcrumbs.
There's a disgruntled glider back there. Like, I'll show them.
Yeah.
All right, great job, glider.
The perpetrator ran off.
Yeah, this is protest. This is like the most he could do. He went home feeling, vindicated that night. Yeah, man. Salute to Francis, man. Francis S, man. She says, nobody does it like you. Shout out to you, Francis.
Off, but there are lots of cameras in the heart of Atlanta's tourist district. Mr. Griffiths wants the culprit held accountable.
I love it. Like, we grew up in South Georgia. We don't need to be afraid to walk down the street, especially during the middle of the day.
Mr. Griffiths' wife is still healing. She has broken bones in her jaw and is still numb in the area where she was struck. But she says she realizes it could have been much worse.
Police say they have no suspects in custody at this time.
It's just crazy to me, how our current system, the courts, they don't seem capable to handle this behavior. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, so he beat her ass, right? I mean, technically speaking, how serious is that, right? It's not like he killed her or raped or G'd her, right? You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Now, although we know that this should be handled severely. It should be treated severely, but the system does not look at it that way, right?
Well, here's the thing. If it goes in as an assault, right? It'll go in the same bucket with if you like grab a woman or you push a woman. It's an assault, so it's gonna go in the assault bucket. Even though
like here over here in Illinois, it would be I guess upgraded because of the great bodily harm, right? But even with that said, what can they really do to this little goofy? What can they do to him?
Not discharge him with maybe assault and maybe he'll plead it down. Well, they got 30 witnesses. Most of them, a lot of them probably white, so they probably won't have to. They'll probably
still plead it down nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, they still give him plea. Yeah, facts, man. He probably do. It depends on his record, and if he was on probation, he might get an ankle monitor, or he might get 6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know something.
Well, we know this, we know this, right? If it's a brother, they're gonna throw the book at him. If it's a glider, they're gonna not throw the book at him.
Right, they're gonna give it. They're gonna take him to Burger King.
Police say they have no suspects in custody at this time. News Edge reporter Eric Mock was there on the scene. He talked with friends of the victim and those living nearby.
Well, DeKalb County Police homicide investigators are working to figure out who shot and killed an innocent bystander off of Flat Shoals Road. And neighbors in that area are telling me, unfortunately, they're not surprised this happened. DeKalb County resident Brian says he pulled up to a meeting here off of Flat Shoals Road in DeKalb County Saturday evening, only to find tragedy.
A good friend of mine just lost his life.
DeKalb County police say at least 2 people were arguing over money here in this parking lot Saturday afternoon when one of them started shooting at the other. The gunfire hit and killed someone nearby. That person was not involved in the dispute.
He was an innocent bystander. Yeah, they ain't have nothing to do with.
I mean, the amount of innocent bystanders that get killed from blacks, man, is, I mean, golly, it's offensive, man. Just killing people, man. And listen, when you hear, this is what I always tell y'all, man. If you hear loud talking and yelling and arguing between sons, man, don't stand and gawk. Get behind something hard, man. Pause. And you know what I'm saying? Get behind a building. Don't go stand behind a plain glass, man. Go get behind a brick building or a pillar or something.
Right. We're gonna have to start. You know how they used to do these nuclear bomb drills? We have to start doing sun drills.
Exactly. You hear, man, bitch ass nigga, what? Where my motherfucking money at?
Right.
And the inclination, listen, I'm human. The inclination is to just want to look and see what's gonna happen, you know, like, oh shit. Look. Nah, man, you gotta get the fuck from around here.
Yeah. You know how like during the nukes they had to go under the desk? If there's a fire, you stop, drop, and roll. Similar concept. When you hear someone arguing, stop, drop, start rolling.
Exactly, man. This, you know the motherfucker can't shoot.
Here in this parking lot Saturday afternoon when one of them started shooting at the other. The gunfire hit and killed someone nearby. That person was not involved in the dispute.
He was an innocent bystander. Yeah, they ain't have nothing to do with what was going on.
We're only using Brian's first name because he said he and the victim attended addiction recovery meetings here together.
Good guy, man. Good guy lost his life today for nothing. No reason at all.
Police responded to the shooting at around 2:30 p.m. Witnesses tell us they heard several shots ring out.
I'm not surprised that it always happens like that.
This man lives near the shooting scene and only wanted to be identified as C and didn't want his face shown out of concern for his safety. C says around here he always has his head on a swivel, trying to avoid potential shootings.
You get an argument in the store, Walmart, whatever, leave. Because somebody probably going to get shot.
He told us he even had a family member caught in the crossfire of a shooting in this very same parking lot.
I had a family member, he was at work, went outside, I think smoked a cigarette or something, and got shot. And I mean, he wasn't trying to break him a fight, he just smoked. And they drove by the parking lot and was shooting at somebody else and shot him in the stomach.
Luckily, his family member did survive. Now, police have not identified the victim or arrested any suspects yet, but they are telling us detectives are following up on some leads. For now, reporting in DeKalb County, Eric Mock, Fox 5 News.
An innocent bystander is the victim of a shooting in Southwest Atlanta. Police say it happened on Notting Hill Drive.
It just feels like, look, if you are going to start running, just make sure you start running in zigzags, all right?
This shit crazy.
That's, you know, like if you ever come to Chicago, man, look, word of advice, just walk in zigzags, all right? Just trust me.
Yeah, my brother, he lived in Chicago, man. He lived down there. He lived out there, man. He lived in Milwaukee. Then he from here, but he lived in Milwaukee and he lived down there. He said, you know, he got a concealed carry, so it's like, but he said he only had to like almost shoot somebody one time. So you know.
Look, I know this might sound crazy, but it's actually a nice city, man. I mean, you've talked about it. You talked about it, how the gliders have built these metropolises, right? These societies, cities, towns that are beautiful. They just gotta, I guess, figure it out with the issues they have.
Yeah, man. It's
as the liberals like to say, Yak, it's only crime. You live in a city, there's gonna be crime. Oh, okay, Glider, thanks for that insight.
New details about a pursuit that ended in Gwinnett County that stemmed from a triple shooting nearly 100 miles away in South Carolina. Here's 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn.
On Wednesday evening, Seneca police in upstate South Carolina rushed to an apartment complex where 2 adults and a small child had been shot. Police say detectives quickly identified the suspect as Emmanuel Williams. However, the 20-year-old was nowhere to be found. An alert was put out to law enforcement across the area to be on the lookout for his vehicle. And at some point, nearly 90 miles south down I-85, he was spotted, and Gwinnett County police were in pursuit. It was around 8 o'clock, sources say Gwinnett County forced Williams to stop here on Sugarloaf Parkway at Highway 120 in Lawrenceville. The crash closed the area Wednesday night as police processed his vehicle and took Williams into custody. Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Right now, Williams is facing close to a dozen charges in Gwinnett County. He will eventually be extradited back to South Carolina, where he's facing 3 attempted murder charges. The victim's family says while their injuries are serious, all are expected to survive.
Hey, Ag, what does your brother think about your views on this matter? Do you guys talk about it? Does he agree?
Oh
disagree?
yeah, now he watched the show. He watched the show
Oh
sometime,
yeah,
man.
really?
Yeah.
What does he think about
Yeah.
it?
Oh, he already know. Like it is what it is. Like he know, man. Like he know. Like he know me. I basically, God gave him a lot of guidance coming up and whatnot. He
His
already
younger
know.
brother? He's your younger brother?
Yeah, he like my mother got married, and so
Hey.
he was a baby when my mother got married. So it's like I
Yeah.
raised him up and shit all throughout the year.
Right.
So it's like, yeah.
Did he go to that one school you talked about, like the one that you guys like recited the Black Anthem?
Nah. He didn't. He lived with his mother. He lived with his mother. Yeah.
Does he disagree with anything at all? Like, does he disagree?
Nah. He 100% no. Like
the DNA.
100%. DNA is the DNA. He coming around.
Yeah,
He coming around on the DNA part. The DNA is always something that is like. It's always something that you gotta like. It's just like the final frontier. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The final test.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's because of you, right? Because again, I said it before. At least that DNA, a lot of the shit you say, but the DNA one, it comes from you. You know what I mean? You don't really hear that. You don't really hear that in the world, or even online, really, for the most part that I know.
Nah, no doubt. It's just it's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair because between the propaganda and I've said it before, it just feels crude. It feels backwards. However, when you really remove all of the propaganda and all the brainwashing, and you really just take a look at like behavior patterns, this whole argument of like culture is DNA. You could make the case
you
that
make the
culture is
culture. You make your culture. Every group, every group makes their culture. You gonna make it. Your mores, your values, your is what creates the institutions that
yeah, what's
it's
tolerated.
Yeah.
It's
just go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my girl. I sometimes it comes out of her that she's kind of coming around on that too. Although she does push against it, because again, I don't blame her. She's a female, and it's also again, I feel like we're so bombarded with how we're all the same, right? But for some reason, we're all the same. But I don't see any tigers in the NFL, right? For example, and that's just one example of like
and I don't.
millions.
And I don't see any brothers getting picked up in front.
Oh shit! That we lost Ike. Wait, is Ike not here?
Yeah, man. I don't know what just happened. Yeah,
Wait,
they
what were you gonna say? You don't see brothers doing what?
getting picked up from in front of the Home Depot, man. They always pick up Home Depot.
Right.
Yeah, man.
We could be anywhere in the country, right? You throw a dart on the map, and if it's a Home Depot, and the people are standing at the on the line for work, they're probably on burritos, man. And somebody might say, "Well, I saw a glider once." Okay, right? That's fine. You might see a brother out there. No one's arguing against that, but the point still stands.
Yo, I listen. I ain't see no gliders out there, but I will say this: brothers do well, like day laboring, like outside of a U-Haul, because a lot of people need help moving, and brothers, I see a lot of brothers outside of a U-Haul hanging out.
I've seen brothers like
that's not skilled labor. You know what I'm saying? That's just regular, like just pick this shit up and carry it up the steps.
But I still want someone that's gonna be, careful. You know what I mean? I want people that are not. You get what I mean? Like that's still
definitely.
Important job,
Yeah.
I think.
But it's less skilled. It's not as much skill as like doing drywall, the carpet, like that.
Taping.
Yeah.
A total stranger spoke up for a voice that could not be heard. And look at where we are.
A 2-year-old voice that cannot be heard after police find his body in a dumpster. His parents now charged with his murder. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Denise Valdez.
I'm Brian Loftus. It is a case our 8 News Now investigators reported first. Now they're digging into possible missed opportunities to help.
8 News Now investigator David Charns with the video you have not seen, and also asking the question, did 2-year-old Jacoby Robinson Jr. have to die?
Say hi, Jacoby. Say hi. Say hi, Jacoby.
These are the memories Gracie Martin wants to remember. Memories of joy and happiness. Memories of her grandson, Jacoby Robinson Jr., before police found his body in a dumpster.
Only an animal would discard their own child the way that he was discarded.
A Las Vegas City marshal finding the boy there after his mother, Deja Smith, reported him missing. Hours later, police would arrest Smith and Martin's son, Jacoby Robinson Sr., for the boy's death. A death detectives believe happened after weeks of abuse.
I kiss him every morning and every night. And tell him that I love him.
Now, as her son and his girlfriend await trial from jail, this is all Gracie Martin has left.
I just don't want him to be alone.
An urn filled with Jacoby's ashes.
No other child that's in CPS care or anybody else care deserve to be in an urn or to be buried.
Police suspect Smith beat Jacoby and his younger brother in the weeks before Jacoby's death. On June 6th, detectives say this video shows Smith leaving the apartment she and her children shared. She's pushing a stroller before she calls 911 to report Jacoby missing. In the back of the stroller, police believe Jacoby's body is laying lifeless because they believe he's already dead. Minutes later, another camera catches Smith pushing the stroller toward a dumpster. Then the sound of metal hitting metal. Smith walks back into frame with 2 children, not 3. In all,
Damn. Worst stewards, man.
Right. Here come the cops doing their job, which is incarcerating some people. Wow.
Jeez. She thought she was so slick. She was looking around and shit.
Right.
She got worried about somebody.
There's cameras everywhere, man.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
He's laying lifeless because they believe he's already dead. Minutes later, another camera catches Smith pushing the stroller toward a dumpster. Then the sound of metal hitting metal. Smith walks back into frame with 2 children, not 3. In all, Martin says her son and Smith have 5 children together. 2 children born before Jacoby, now live in Texas.
It's just been history and just years of abuse that CPS, whether it was in Texas, Nevada, Oklahoma, known that she has been known to abuse her kids because she got them taken before.
Clark County Family Services declined to comment on that history, this case, and Jacoby's death, all citing state law. The only record that is public is this child fatality report filed with the state, matching Jacoby's date of birth and his date of death. It says the department received a report in 2022 about neglect, leading the state to remove the children, then Jacoby and his younger brother, from their mother's care. On April 1st, 2 months before Jacoby was put in the dumpster, Smith, deemed a, quote, appropriate caregiver, was reunited with her children. Now Jacoby, his younger brother, and a baby.
There's a lady that is feeding a baby. He has to be, if he's 2, I'm surprised.
On May 25th, 7 weeks after regaining custody of her 3 children.
And she's physically hitting the child? Yep. He fell under the stroller. He's walking on the side. He fell under the stroller.
A driver calls 911, reporting a woman, later identified as Smith, hitting Jacoby's brother while near a bus stop.
The one that she's beating the most is the one in the red T-shirt.
Video the 8 News Now investigators obtained shows Metro Police responding to that call. Deja Smith telling the officer the child, the one in the red shirt, just 22 months old, fell in the street.
My kids are beating up to you. I just got them back from foster care. Everything's fine. Is it? Yes.
I just got my kids back 2 weeks ago. Got them back from where? CPS. That would have been the thing. Got them back from where?
Photos the 8 News Now investigators obtained show Jacoby and his brother in foster care before they were returned to their mother's custody. They're smiling and happy. These photos show the injuries to the boy after their parents' arrests. Scratches and whip marks cover his body. Detectives call them loop marks, injuries in various stages of healing caused by a charging cord or a small extension cord.
He's fine, sir. I can promise you he's fine.
The boy, frightened and confused as a stranger looms over him, goes into his mother's arms. It's something the officer notes when he's back in his cruiser and he's talking with another officer about what to do next.
And then he went in hours too. This would be a negative 424.
The notes from that call show the officer wrote no signs of 424. 424, the code for abuse or neglect.
11 days later, my grandson get dumped in a dumpster like it's nothing. They had an outlet that day. And my grandson.
I don't want to hear that about the police. Y'all hate the fucking police. Y'all talk shit about the police all the time. Nope. You should have did something. You're the grandmother. You the one who dropped the ball. You dropped the ball, not the police. Police gotta chase murderers and all types of shit up and down the street. Don't try to put that shit on the police. You dropped the ball. Why you ain't try to get custody of? Why you ain't try to get custody?
Had to go out in the most despicable way by the hands of his own mother.
We always say, call and make a report.
Michelle Saldivar is an outreach coordinator with Prevent Child Abuse Nevada.
In cases where there is child abuse or neglect, that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a lack of love or care between the parent and the child.
She stresses the importance of that 911 caller, the fact that someone made the report, but she stresses the need for the work not to end there.
I'm not sure if there was follow-up done after, but that's kind of where, my mind goes to too, of like what could have been done after.
Just the phone call itself coming in saying that this child had been hit with either closed fist or open fist, either one, that was the red flag, the number one red flag being called in.
Martin questions why more wasn't done in the hours after, hours that turned into days before her grandson was allegedly murdered at his mother's hands.
I know by hating her, it's not going to bring Jacoby back. She's going to get her day that she deserves because he got his.
Yeah, but she could hate a cop who killed some nigga she didn't know in a city she never heard of. But she can't hate this bitch who killed her fucking grandson.
Now, she's holding those memories close, holding all she has left even closer.
If he didn't mean anything to her, he meant something to me. And to do him like that and to see him in that dumpster, that's something I'll never be able to get out of my head again.
We asked both the county and police about whether anyone made a report or investigated in the days after that 911 call. We didn't receive any responses. Gracie Martin, Jacoby's grandmother, says she doesn't know if her son, Jacoby's father, was even aware of the abuse and believes the agency that gave Deja Smith custody is to blame.
Wasn't aware of the abuse. Boy, are you kidding me? Did you see that little boy? So wait a second. They wasn't aware of the abuse. I find that hard to believe, man. Little boy, man. Poor little boy. They wasn't aware of the abuse. Poor little boy.
Yeah, they shouldn't allow her to sue though. That should be immediately shut down because you know she's gonna try to sue.
Yeah, she's gonna try to sue CPS or try to sue the police or some shit. Yeah. Man. Wow. This is
food, housing.
A.J. Owens is turning a new page tonight, hoping to help other families like theirs coping with tragedy.
TV20's Emma DeLamo tells us about their plan to relieve families of unexpected financial stress.
These are a lifetime of scars. That's what A.J. Owens' mother, Pamela Dias, says about her family's loss after losing A.J. But now she's working with others to start a new initiative called the Standing in the Gap Fund for those affected by social injustice. Families apply online and funds can be distributed within 2 weeks, helping with legal fees, funeral costs, relocating, and other expenses that may occur while a family is grieving.
You're not in a mental capacity to fully execute important decisions, and you may not be in a financial situation to afford everything from food, housing, because it can impact each family in a different way.
They'll also provide money to activist groups and artists promoting social justice.
This community had to get out and organize in those first few days to ensure that not only Susan was arrested, but that Susan received an adequate charge.
Attorney Anthony Thomas says he wants changes to the Stand Your Ground law.
The social impacts on the African American community as it relates to the unjust.
Yo, he can't be a lawyer and not know that Stand Your Ground is like used by Black people more than anybody. We the ones that use that as a defense more than anybody. How does he not know that? Why would he want to change it? Because of one case. They always trying to this is in Florida. They always trying to use,
I was trying to ruin shit.
yeah. Like, are you kidding me? You trying to change Stand Your Ground? Yo, listen, probably like 90% of the shootings in Florida are done by some people. Probably 90% of them. At least 90% of them. are you talking about?
Charge.
Attorney Anthony Thomas says he wants changes to the Stand Your Ground law.
The social impacts on the African American community as it relates to the unjustified killing of a human being and how certain individuals get away with those things.
On Monday, Susan Lawrence was sentenced.
Certain individuals get away with those sorts of things. Yo, you talk about a case where an old lady shot a black woman that was banging on her damn door, threatening to kill her. And you using that to try to change a law that'll affect black people. What are you talking about, dog?
Charge.
Attorney Anthony Thomas says he wants changes to the Stand Your Ground law.
Look, even in the simulation, the black lady is
Stand Your Ground law.
She banging on the door in the simulation. Yo, that's crazy. That's a little old senior citizen white lady hunkered down in the house. Black old big ass black walrus outside the house banging on the door. She shot one bullet through the door, and he trying to change the law, talking about some racism bullshit. These motherfuckers is crazy, man. I'm glad we voted against it. I'm glad we voted against that, man. America dodged a serious bullet, man. 4 more years of this shit would have been, I don't know if the country could have took it, man. I don't know if the country could have survived this shit, man.
The social impacts on the African American community as it relates to the unjustified killing of a human being and how certain individuals get away with those things.
On Monday, Susan Lawrence was sentenced to 25 years in jail for killing Owens. The victim's mother saying the trauma and tragedy never ends.
It will carry on for future generations. These are lifetimes of scarring.
Group members are hoping to raise $20 million in 10 years, launching the fund next month. In Ocala, Emma Delamo, TV 20 News.
Well, imagine losing the love of your life.
Only on to tonight, a convicted felon is now accused of killing a.
We did that. We did that. Let's see. Oh man, I tell you, man. I tell you, man. Yikes.
On tonight's Breaking Bond, the day of reckoning arrives for a 26-year-old woman who racked up the most bonds we have ever seen. In about a year's time, Aubrey Davis was in and out of jail on a total of 16 bonds. Fox 26's Randy Wallace joins us live from the courthouse with the latest in his ongoing series. Randy?
Yes, Sherman. Now, in the 4 years I've been doing Breaking Bond, I've never seen a defendant like Aubrey Davis. With all the misdemeanor and felony bonds she's racked up in several counties, we dubbed her the bail bond queen.
Are you Aubrey Danelle Davis?
You know you have a lot of bonds when it's shocking to even your own attorney.
For doing this almost 20 years, I've never had a client that had this many bonds, period.
16 bonds, mostly for theft and robbery. Aubrey Davis admitted to stealing 243 cans of baby formula last January. Then in March, robbing a Subway and seriously injuring an employee who tried to stop her and her accomplice.
She is a career habitual thief. Bottom line.
Visiting Judge Vanessa Velasquez put Aubrey Davis on probation last June.
And I told you in no uncertain terms that if you broke or violated any of those terms that you would go to a Texas prison.
She gave her an opportunity to, get her life straightened out. She gave her multiple chances, and Aubrey Davis blew every single one of them.
Unfortunately, she had been involved with folks that were getting her addicted to drugs. She suffered through a miscarriage. She had some psychological issues that she was working through, but nevertheless, she was given the opportunity. Unfortunately, she didn't take advantage of it.
I assess your punishment at 180 days in a state jail facility. I am not going to give you any credit, and I'm not going to give you 20% credit on that.
That was for the theft conviction. Judge Velasquez sentenced Davis to 5 years in prison for robbery.
I'm going to order that you do your state jail time, which is flat time up to 6 months, before you begin your prison sentence. Do you have anything to say? You want to apologize now?
The judge, and rightfully so, and we applaud the judge.
I better never see you again. Do you understand? All right, take her away.
The Aubrey Davis saga isn't over yet. She's still facing charges in 4 other counties. Reporting live.
Christ. Damn.
Yeah, this is forgivable, but as long as she didn't vote for Trump, because that
I'm
I can't
telling
forgive.
I'm telling you, man.
Although I suspect we have nothing to worry about as far as that is concerned. If it's like 90% of them voted for Kamala, then she should be good.
New tonight, we are hearing from the son of a woman hit and killed by an HPD patrol car as she crossed the street with her children. He's speaking with us after HPD released the graphic dash cam and body cam videos from that awful accident. Matt Doherty is live at HPD headquarters. Matt, it is so heartbreaking. This will be their first Thanksgiving without their mother.
Yeah, this crash is still very fresh for this family. The son says he still cannot bring himself to watch that unedited video.
But it's just that one person in our life. We need that person because that's what brings the life to like our Thanksgiving.
I spoke with 18-year-old Jalen Gary over the phone on this night before the first Thanksgiving without his mom. Earlier today, Houston police released the dash cam video and body cam videos from the night of September the 19th, although an unedited version was uploaded to YouTube by HPD.
Yeah. See that, man?
September the 19th.
How did he not see them?
Although an unedited version.
Oh shit! God, he had to send her like, I don't know if she would have flew in the air because he hit.
How fast was he going? Did they say?
Very fast, very fast. God, dog.
Thanksgiving.
I spoke with 18-year-old Jalen Gary over the phone on this night before the first Thanksgiving without his mom. Earlier today, Houston police released the dash cam video and body cam videos from the night of September the 19th. Although an unedited version was uploaded to YouTube by HPD, we've stopped it at the moment. 41-year-old Desiree Nicole Poole was struck by the police car as she crossed Antoine with her children.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh! Oh my God! You didn't see them? You didn't see them?
No.
Officer Shelby Kennedy was behind.
It was a chick. It was a chick.
Oh, that explains it.
Oh my God! You didn't see them? You didn't see them?
No.
Officer Shelby Kennedy was behind the wheel of the police car.
I don't know what she was doing. She could have been looking at the little computer that she had right there or whatever she had.
Sir, call the ambulance right now. They already on the way. Oh my God!
What are you waiting for?
CPR in progress.
In the passenger seat was Officer Joshua Rosales. He jumps out to help Poole.
CPR in progress. My mom.
Poole was rushed to the hospital where she later died.
She just basically did nice things for us like all our lives.
If not having their mom on Thanksgiving wasn't already enough, Jalen Gary says it hurts his family to know the crash video is online. He says they've been trying to keep his 11-year-old sister from seeing the moments she undoubtedly relives every single day.
What if my sister comes scrolling down and we try to avoid her from seeing that video because if you watch it, she's the one that's mostly screaming, trying to hold my mom and try to help her out.
Both of the officers who were inside that police car that night are being put on administrative leave. That is while This is investigated. The son says justice to him means the officer that hit his mom loses her badge. Mia, back.
Yeah. Yeah, damn. Jeez. Fuck. Oh, who's that woman?
New tonight, Thanks for joining us here on News 12 The Bronx. I'm Amanda Bossert. Tonight, a mother is calling for justice after she says her son was beaten to death and left to die inside of his own home. News 12's Valerie Ryan has this exclusive story.
Michael Woody's loved ones described him as a light.
He was just a whole vibe. He brought people together.
His mom says he recently started a new chapter, moving in with his girlfriend. That chapter quickly ended when police found him unresponsive in his home at 1639 Fulton Avenue on November 16th.
My son was killed. He was murdered.
Miss Woody says detectives told her surveillance video captured two men walk into Michael Woody's apartment and catches them leaving 45 minutes later.
Thea Woody, Michael's mother, tells us she fears a rough patch in her son's relationship may have led to his death. Investigators released this wanted flyer. Miss Woody identifies the woman as Michael's girlfriend, the man in the middle as her father, while the man in the baseball cap is unknown.
I want all three of them to go to jail for this. No plea deal, no none of that. Because now his 15-year-old daughter is growing up without her father.
A neighbor tells us they witnessed Woody's girlfriend leave the apartment and keep the door open. This photo shows the man in the baseball cap holding some sort of metal object in his hand. Miss Woody believes Michael was beaten to death.
He was just so willing to just take his life from him like it wasn't nothing, like he didn't matter. He belonged to people.
Ring camera footage captures Michael being taken out on a stretcher.
My son's life mattered. It mattered.
Police have not confirmed the cause of Michael's death, and no one is in custody. In Claremont, Valerie Ryan, News 12, The Bronx.
Hey, I don't know if you saw the one I sent you on Twitter with the afternoon Thanksgiving on Pulaski and Monroe, where a 62-year-old, it was in West Garfield Park, a 62-year-old son, man, caught a bullet in the head inside his home from gunfire that was shot outside.
When you sent it to me.
I don't know if I found like the video, but I read the newspaper. I sent it to you. But of course, the annual traditional put a straight bullet through somebody's window on Thanksgiving. Sunday, right? Tradition.
The tradition carries on. It's got a timeless tradition.
Buckle up. This is not going to be a short fight. But if you want to be on the right side of history, if you want to be on the side of justice, then join us as we make this country live up to the ideals that it, wrote down that it was on paper.
Well, in the aftermath of the George Floyd killing and the racial protests and the upheaval, there really was a lot of angst. And in particular, I was really taken by this hashtag I saw on social media, which was, white people do something. One of the things that feels different about this moment is it does feel.
That was such a crazy time. They showed that, like, when they got you down, they gonna go for the jugular, you know what I'm saying?
For finish.
I hope white people saw that, man. Like if we get the upper hand, man, we not just gonna do like y'all do, where you could just have your communities. We give you can have your rights, just stay over there, But we not gonna do that. We gonna take everything, man.
feel like it's not just Black people who are upset, it's everyone. And in particular, white people might be trying to figure out what their role is or what they should be doing. And it also hit me that if I was a white person, I don't necessarily know that I would know what I should be doing, particularly in the workplace as it relates to social justice. So in many ways, I just wanted to share just my perspective, and not saying that this is the end all be all, but these are 10 specific things that white people certainly can do to try to promote equity and promote social and racial justice in their workplace. So as an individual, my first suggestion would be for a white person to just get to know more people of color. I mean, it makes sense, all of
That's the worst advice. Yo,
Right.
That's the worst advice. And I'm not even just talking about violence and crime. It's just that, like, they have the least resources. They have the least, you know what I mean? Social skills. Like, your life, the people around, like, if you're a white person, you're around a bunch of white people. You're around people who probably come from families, people who have, not even savings, something in their savings account. Black person, all their savings account overdrawn, and card overdrawn, and just, white people, kind of like centered and reserved, and non-emotional and shit. Then you're around black people, they all over the place, erratic and chaotic. Everything you do, the more white friends you ditch for black friends, your situation gonna become different. You have to make an adjustment. You know what I mean? Just crazy, man. This is terrible advice.
to try to promote equity and promote social and racial justice in their workplace. So as an individual, my first suggestion would be for a white person to just get to know more people of color. I mean, it makes sense. All of us tend to gravitate to people that we have a lot in common with. And so unfortunately, the downside of that is sometimes we can live in our own little cocoons. It's hard to trust a person you don't like, and it's hard to like a person you don't know. So that building block of breaking down, racial injustice and stereotyping and bias is just expanding your network and truly getting to know more people of color. That demystifies things and that minimizes stereotypes.
This might
So
backfire.
number two, I would say just call your friends of color and express some empathy. It's a really difficult time, frustrating time, and maybe just start a little bit of a dialogue. When George Floyd was killed and there was so much upheaval and racial unrest, a couple of my white friends reached out to me and I really appreciated it. And then from there, it kind of sparked a conversation.
Like somebody she know passed away. A couple of her white friends reached out. Like she lost a family member or some shit. Shit, these people are this was a sick, wicked time, man.
Start a little bit of a dialogue. When George Floyd was killed and there was so much upheaval and racial unrest, a couple of my white friends reached out to me and I really appreciated it. And then from there, it kind of sparked a conversation. We started talking about race and what I thought and what they thought. And these are friends I've had for more than a decade. And I don't know that I can remember ever really having that sort of conversation with them in the past 10 years or so. So I really appreciated it. So I would recommend that. My only caveat though, because I'll be completely honest, I've gotten feedback from a lot of my Black friends who said they are not trying to spend like every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday educating all their white friends. So when I say call to reach out, it's just that. It doesn't mean that there's an expectation that it's going to be a racism 101 tutorial twice a week, but it's more so just to reach out, just to express some empathy as a friend. Talk to your children.
About how arrogant, you know what I'm saying? How arrogant and presumptuous she is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like the Blackistan has like a bunch of dead actual people they know.
Right, and not like this event made that number of dead Black people explode. Like it doubled. After this event, she's talking about educating white people, and white people need to kiss her ass. The Black murder rate went through the roof.
And records were broken in several cities.
This is insane, man. Wow.
Children about race. So I think we do our children a disservice when we try to protect them from talking about the ugliness of race and the racial history, the history of discrimination in this country. They're dealing with a lot of these same issues, albeit in a different way, in terms of equity, in terms of character development, ethics. All of those issues might be playing out on the playground or at birthday parties or in other places in the classroom. So I think that as parents, we need to give them space to navigate those conversations and to figure out their own value system and figure out maybe why they have some of the beliefs that they have. We've got to challenge our own stereotypes. I think that if we go out to the world expecting everyone else to change, but not looking at ourselves, then we're not pursuing this in a healthy way.
Yo, Jesus Christ. They have negative self-awareness, like negative 1,000 self-awareness. Jeez.
Way. I think we first got to look inside and say, well, how did I grow up? What were some of the messages I received? And why do I think what I think? So I think it's so important that each of us, myself included, I've been doing this as well, start to think about, where do I have stereotypical beliefs and where did they come from? So the next suggestion is speak up publicly. And I'm going to be the first to admit, much easier said than done. But in this moment, if we're really looking at moving the needle, we need to go beyond, liking tweets and posting memes and just agreeing that racism is abhorrent. Okay, I think we all can agree that racism is abhorrent, but the question is, what are we going to do about it? And too often, many of us, and I will include myself in that as well, we've honestly been part of the problem because we've sat back, and even though we didn't agree with the racist comments or we didn't agree with the process that was a little bit discriminatory, we didn't really say anything. We didn't really speak up. There's so many ways that each of us can speak up and take action. So another suggestion is, don't work for companies that aren't diverse. That might seem obvious on one hand, or it might.
Jesus Christ. All her advice is horrible. She's just a terrible advice giver, man. Yo, she gives the worst advice in the history of the world.
Man, this bitch sounds like another one of them chicks that done sat up in front of the Juice Crew, listening to all them little bullshit ass talking points, and then wants to turn around and tell people how to cure racism. Man, get the fuck out of here. Gonna get somebody killed is what they're gonna do.
Telling you, man, it's just insane, man. I don't know how she doesn't hear herself. Like, she's the one saying it. Does she have a filter? Like, just
she lives in a white neighborhood. Kids are in private school. Man, that's all she knows. She don't know nothing about that shit.
True. Jeez.
Seem really extreme on the other hand, but I think that in 2020, it's just not too much to ask to work for a company that is actively trying to become more diverse or actively pursuing equity and social justice, or has achieved some level of diversity and inclusion. If your organization is doing neither, I would suggest that you might want to reconsider if this is where you can be your best self. So I'm certainly not saying go out and immediately quit your job. Obviously, most companies have work to do, and you can be part of the solution, and I can be part of the solution. Try to improve your organization. I absolutely think that leaders have additional responsibility, and the great news is they have additional opportunity. There's so many more things that leaders can do. So step one, find a few people of color in your organization who are doing amazing things and mentor them. Okay, don't wait to be asked, or don't wait for a mentoring program. Go out and proactively find those amazing people and mentor them, sponsor them, let them know that they have support, let them shadow you, introduce them to other people in the organization. That's access that is critical that you have.
Jesus Christ.
This bitch makes me sick. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand this shit.
Wow.
That you can share with them. And then take it a step further. Challenge your peers to do the same thing. Mentorship is so key, and it can make a huge difference. You want to try to encourage objective processes. Why do I say that? Because subjectivity is where lots of bias can creep in. That's where we get the good old boy network, where, well, we're not sure why we prefer Bob over Leon, but we just kind of do. So instead of that, we really want to have highly objective processes with clearly defined criteria. Now, notice with that, I think this is an opportunity to talk about the fact that people of color are not expecting lowered standards. They're not expecting special treatment. We want things to be fair and objective. Another thing we need from our leaders.
Jesus Christ.
She don't know what the fuck she talking about. This is exactly why they got litter boxes in schools. People listen to this.
Is their leadership in terms of ensuring there's diversity at the leadership level. Let's face it, it is so much harder for people who are lower in the organization to do that. So we really need leaders to step up. Oftentimes they're in these closed door meetings, they're in executive committee meetings or boardrooms. We need them to speak up. But certainly this is something that's critical that we expect of our leadership, to insist that there's more diversity on leadership teams and at the leadership level. So I think the great news is that there's something that all of us can do. We don't have to wring our hands or feel helpless or feel like there's nothing. These are just 10 things that came to mind for me, but you might have a different list, or some of your friends or colleagues might have other suggestions. That's awesome. You know, Black people aren't monolithic, just like no race is monolithic. So I can't speak for everyone, but I do want to reiterate the importance.
Says the woman from the group that votes 95% for the same party every fucking election.
Exactly.
Importance of taking action. This is a moment not just to sympathize, but to really reflect and think about, well, what am I going to do differently to really
keep her white husband in the back. Get her.
Right. He might be a Melungeon, though. He might be Melungeon.
Oh, man. Juice Crew, probably.
Yeah, she, Jesus Christ. She got, damn, she right there.
It almost feels like she's trolling.
Right. It's just, jeez. I didn't even peep that. That's crazy.
Do something.
You want to be happy too, right?
I'm telling you.
She should definitely be happy, but ain't nobody trying to get conned.
Well, in the aftermath.
Jeez.
And despite a greater focus on diversity and inclusion, women of color are still experiencing racism in the workplace. That's according to a new study from consulting giant McKinsey & Company about women in the workforce. Joining us now to break it all down is Tiffany Burns from McKinsey. She's a partner in their Atlanta office, and we'd like to recognize her distinguished background, having both an MBA and law degree from Harvard. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us here on BNC.
Thanks for having me.
Tiffany, I'm going to give you a BNC shout out because I didn't even know such a thing existed. You're like a unicorn, a Black woman who went to Harvard and has both those degrees. So kudos to you. That's Black excellence.
A unicorn. What did she go without DEI? She went there without DEI.
Oh, she went with DEI just like all the rest of them. Man, give a bit. Chick gets a Harvard degree. All of a sudden, she a unicorn. Man, come on, man. Soft bigotry of low expectations.
telling you, man. Wow. Jeez. Yo, these people are nuts, man. We talk about like just crazy. This is crazy town, man.
And her biggest
Real quick,
argument
tell me
is
about
you're
your
white,
background,
you can't tell me.
how you ended up in that position.
Well, like I had one of those moms that set high expectations for me at a very young age. You know, I'm an only child, grew up in Georgia, and I had a mom, and I think I was probably in middle school when my mom said that she wanted me to go to Harvard. And not only did she want me to get a JD, but she wanted me to get a JD and BA. And she had a small article about a woman who had done it that she gave me and reminded me about that. And so I lost my mom to breast cancer in 2009, but obviously, you know, continued on in the way that she would have wanted me to go.
Wow. Well, condolences about your mother, but what an amazing woman, and so are you. So let's talk about this study. It points out what's called a broken rung on the ladder to success for women of color. Tell me about that.
So, you know, we've all heard about the corporate ladder, and the way we think about it is the first step in the corporate ladder where you go from, you know, the first management opportunity is what we talk about as the broken rung. And so what we found is that first promotion to manager, that's the first step, right, to do anything more than that. And so where we see that for every 100 men that are promoted, we only see 85 women of color. White women are higher than that at 89. And so, you know, that rung, we call it broken, right? Because we would love to see the same percentage of women and Black women as their white male counterparts making the transition. And when we think about why that is concerning, it's only the first step. And so the fact that we are seeing that challenge at what we think is the easiest gap to close persist is why we continue to be concerned. And I think then when we think about Black woman representation overall throughout the corporate ladder, we would see 1 in 22 Black women representing 1 in 22 of new hires. And then if we look all the way to the C-suite, it's only 1 in 65. And so throughout the course of that ladder, we still see significant drop off of Black women executives.
And Tiffany, there's also another phrase that's used in this study that you're using called double only. Talk about what it means and the significance of that.
Well, I think Black women for a long time have known, you know, about being a double only. I think we named it and we created a little bit of a language around it. But what we find is 1 in 8 women of color, you know, would say that they are double onlys. And that means that often in the work environment that they're in, they're the only woman, and then they're the only person of their racial or ethnic category, right? And so when you look at that population and you look at the experiences that they have, what you find is they are more than 2 to 3 times more likely to experience microaggressions. And this has persisted for a while, right? This is similar to what we've seen a couple of years ago.
Microaggression. What? Because somebody got frowny because their eyebrows are slanted, they're racist. I can't wait for this shit to be over.
Happy birthday to take it away, Amanda.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, come on, it's Sarah's birthday. Let's hear you sing, girl.
Sing. Jesus Christ. Where do they come up with this stuff?
Happy birthday to take it away, Amanda.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, come on, it's Sarah's birthday. Let's hear you sing, girl. Sing. Come on, Beyonce.
Happy birthday to you. That was so beautiful. Anyway, who wants some cake?
Yes.
It's not easy being the minority in any situation.
Oh,
but in the workplace, as the only Black woman, it can be a very frustrating and stressful environment.
Okay, Beyonce. Now let's get information for this cake.
I'm just in the middle of something. I'll be there in a sec.
Oh.
And that, my friends, is an example of a microaggression. So what is a microaggression? Brief, commonplace, daily verbal, behavioral, or environmental indignities, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative prejudicial slights and insults towards any group, particularly culturally marginalized groups. That's right. I've read up on this. It felt so good to be able to label that behavior, to give a name to the underlying stress and discomfort that comes from being confronted by microaggressions. He means well, but that's what makes these aggressions, well, micro. Intent is not the same as impact, and a throwaway comment or joke can have a huge impact on the rest of someone's day. I spoke to some friends about their experiences in the workplace.
How does it make you feel?
Hey man, Black women are just straight up being used as a weapon. It's like a torpedo. Yeah, it's like a torpedo to come in there and just destroy the speech, destroy everybody's process in just going about daily life.
Destroy society.
Yeah, this is annoying at the least, man. At the very least, this is annoying.
This is fucking stupid. This is stupid. And as far as I'm concerned, it almost looks like they are intentionally putting a target on their back.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's first player syndrome.
Yeah.
You know, they think they're the center of everything. And really, like, they just don't understand that, like, look, man, like, in like a setting like this first setting where they talked about this, everybody's just being extra nice to you because they don't want you to cry about racism. Because they know if they treat you normally, like if they treat you like anybody else, you're gonna be like, they know you're used to being treated special. So they know that, like, look, if I just treat you normally, like I would any other person in this room, you're gonna be whining about not getting something or being ignored or being mistreated or being disrespected. So they be extra nice to you. You know what I mean? And then you complain about that too.
Complain about that too. Yeah, like it's like, man, they don't even get it. They don't even get. Hey, you know what? It kind of reminds me. I remember back in my late 20s, I met this one chick at a club, and I'm talking about she was like a straight up hood rat. Like I mean, she's the type of person who probably will go her whole life without ever owning a car. Man, I remember she yeah, I'm just saying that's just kind of like
no
her
doubt.
mom lived that life. Yeah. Right. And I remember she was like, she would always be like, I hate going up into places where white people are. I was like, why? Because I feel like everybody's looking at me. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you for everybody to be looking at you? You know, and she's like, I don't know. I'm like, and it just took that one experience to know that it's a thing. You know, Black people will walk up in a place that's predominantly white people, and there's I don't know, 1/3 of Black, 1/3 of sons that will automatically feel like they are being watched just because there are white people there. And now they're sitting here trying to call it out in their way, and it's just stupid.
That's just it's so annoying. And these women are like, and then they always got like a bunch of advice and a bunch of rules and lists to give people, and it's like, bitch, where's your kids at? Where your kids at? Like
you know, they want to bring us down to a 75 IQ. They want everybody on an equal playing field of the 70 IQ.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. So what is a microaggression? Brief, commonplace, daily verbal, behavioral, or environmental indignities, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative prejudicial slights and insults towards any group.
Basically anything where you're not like kissing my ass, and even if you're kissing my ass, that could also be a microaggression.
Exactly.
particularly culturally marginalized groups. That's right. I've read up on this. It felt so good to be able to label that behavior, to give a name to the underlying stress and discomfort that comes from being confronted by microaggressions. He means well, but that's what makes these aggressions, well, micro. Intent is not the same as impact, and a throwaway comment or joke can have a huge impact on the rest of someone's day. I spoke to some friends about their experiences in the workplace.
How does it make you feel? So we talked a lot about like these microaggressions, out and out racism, like in the workplace. How does that make you feel?
I know that I definitely feel kind of other, very separate to an extent that I don't talk about any kind of Black experiences I have outside of work.
Some of the things that I don't like are those sweeping statements. Has anybody got an umbrella? Debbie will have one because Black people.
Bitch, I don't talk about that shit either.
Right.
And here is the kitchen where we really get things cooking. But seriously, guys, this space is used by everyone, so just be mindful about throng-smelling foods. 3.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Kitchen where we really get things cooking. But seriously, guys, this space is used by everyone, so just be mindful about throng-smelling foods. 3. Right, up next, the photocopiers.
I'm always like super polite, super kind, super cordial. Everyone's like, oh, Essie's super friendly.
Yeah, Black women are always super polite, super cordial.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the main one I've heard it with is the hair. I've heard sisters complain about like their hair as they all talking about getting their hair done and what they're gonna do with it next. And I'm like, yo,
it's crazy, man.
you know what I'm talking about? Like I've heard them say, like, oh, people look at they criticize our hair or hair policies. As they talk about what they're gonna do with their hair next, Chief. The sisters got it for fucking with their hair. They love doing all this different shit with their hair. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. Every day, like they look different every 2 days.
But sometimes I do just want to like snap back at somebody or get annoyed, and I feel like I can't.
I feel like the second I display passion for doing a good job, people are like, whoa, 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 whoa.
That was great, Amanda. I'm not sure the figures are quite accurate, though.
Actually, I double checked them with finance to make sure, and they're spot on.
But they're not accurate. Don't matter if you double check.
Exactly.
You could have quadruple checked them. If they're not right, they're not right.
Right. So she's like literally refusing to take an L.
Amanda, I'm not sure the figures are quite accurate, though.
Actually, I double checked them with finance to make sure, and they're spot on.
Whoa, girlfriend, maybe dial down the sass a
Oh,
little.
she didn't even
talk like that.
Hey. Did he say tone down the sass? I ain't gonna lie. He say that. That's like, I'm like, I'd have to look at him like, bro, for real? Like, really?
Like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like this is all their bullshit. This is just a power play. This is like them like trying to like gain ground. Like they just basically telling gliders like, yo, stick them up, hands in the air, gliders. Nobody move, hands in the
air. Yeah. Nobody move. This is a robbery.
Yeah, this is stick up, man.
Oh, well. That was great, Amanda. I'm not sure the figures are quite accurate, though.
Actually, I double checked them with finance to make sure, and they're spot on.
Whoa, girlfriend, maybe dial down the sass a little.
For a lot of my white colleagues, they're quite happy to just have all these discussions about racism, but because it doesn't affect them emotionally. Whereas for me, it's quite difficult to hear.
Yeah, white people are always happy to have conversations about race. What planet do these people live on? Yo, when you're a white person, there's nothing you could say right. Like you could, like if you're a white person, you say, yeah, racism is wrong. A black person would be like, oh my God, I mean, wrong, just wrong. No, it's evil. It's diabolical. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing you can say as a white person in the racial conversation.
No,
white people run from those type of conversations.
They do run from them. I mean, hey, if you go with it head on, then you might get somewhere. Like
what planet do these women live? What planet does she live on?
White colleagues.
Hey,
they're quite happy to just have all these
first person syndrome. It's her world.
About racism, but because it doesn't affect them emotionally. Whereas for me, it's quite difficult to hear those conversations because it's like I've lived through a lot of that, and I'm just trying to do my work, and you're bringing up these really difficult issues for me.
Oh, Amanda, thank God. Explain to Sarah what the Black Lives Matter movement is.
All jokes aside, it can be very difficult when you find yourself on the receiving end of this kind of behavior. So, what can you do about it? Well, I have a few ideas. Firstly, set up the situation. Kate, you know when you took us on that tour the other day? Next, objectively describe the behavior and get clarification. You asked me to explain the Black Lives Matter movement. Why did you ask me? Next.
Bitch, because you black.
Exactly.
And you be bitching about racism all the time.
And you're wearing the fucking t-shirt.
And you cried about George Floyd, and you took a week off, and you got a fucking Black Lives Matter fucking earrings on. But bitch, you got goddamn what the fuck you mean while we asked you?
Yeah. Bitch, you were just talking about it in the hallway.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck is you talking about?
And this is the most important bit. Explain the impact. If you want the behavior to stop, people need to know why. John, when you use phrases like, whoa, girlfriend, or describe me as sassy, it feels like you're accusing me of being aggressive and makes me worry about sharing my opinions.
Bitch,
I haven't seen you do this to any other members of the team. Final step.
They're not.
Do differently. Work together to come up with solutions to ensure that you do things differently in future. To be completely honest, I hate singing on my own, and I don't think it's fair to put someone on the spot like that. Self-selected solos from now on?
Right. Yeah.
It's not always going to be that easy.
Why not just say, "No, I'm good. No, I can't sing." Why not just say that? Why preach to everybody at a fucking party and?
Why not say, hey, just because I'm black don't mean I can sing. Just because I'm a black woman don't mean I can sing. Why don't you say that?
Right, anything but preaching.
But hopefully these tips will provide some helpful navigation through difficult situations. And if things don't improve, or if you don't feel comfortable confronting a colleague, talk to your boss, HR, or union rep. Racial discrimination at work is illegal. It's everyone's responsibility to think about the impact that their words might have on someone else. Now, if you don't mind, I've got a party to get back to.
Video recordings of this podcast can be found on raisingequity.org and Raising Equity on YouTube.
Hey folks, I'm Dr. Kira Banks. Welcome to Raising Equity. In today's Diversity Download, I want to talk about the fact that we can now say microaggressions. Now what? What comes next? And I think it's important to understand that the real work actually begins now.
All of these women that's talking about microaggressions, they're all fucking not the type of black women that you would have a problem with. They're all like, so basically like the black women, Shaniqua and Dejanay and Letitia, who you would have constant problems out of, they don't know what a microaggression is. The bitches that you supposed to be get along with and have class and speak well, they're always talking about microaggressions, so you can't win. Press one.
That we spent a lot of time in our workplaces and in our schools and different spaces not being willing to name when microaggressions happen because they can be so subtle. So you probably know what they mean. It's become a really mainstream conversation, even though it's a very academic term. But microaggressions are those subtle unintentional or intentional, verbal or nonverbal, insults, assaults. There are these small cuts that can degrade or send some sort of negative or derogatory message about a group. And the researchers that study microaggressions talk about them being like a paper cut. That one paper cut, uncomfortable. 1,000, miserable. I think of like mosquito bites. One, yeah, it itches, it's annoying. But 1,000, I would be a mess. And so they talk about microaggressions being like death by 1,000 paper cuts because they're so subtle and small, yet they are painful and they accumulate. And so while you might hear one example of a microaggression and say, oh, why are you being so sensitive? Just get over it. Think about if that's like the 1,000th time you've experienced that. So for example, folks of color have often experienced being assumed to be in a position of help in a space, a position of service in a space. So going to an event and having someone hand you your car keys as if you are the valet when you're simply waiting for your car as well. Or someone handing you their tray as if you are there to take their...
How often does that fucking happen, man? And what restaurant do the waiters wear street clothes? Usually the waiters have a uniform. You know what I mean? The bus boys and shit. Like, come on. They usually little hombreros and shit. Like, come on, man. Stop this shit. Like you go somewhere and the fucking white people just come here. Hey, go park my car, nigga. Like, come on, man. Stop this shit, man. That's not the experience. That's not a real experience that a black person is having. You know what I'm saying? Like in out in the world. It's just all horse shit, man. Yeah, I'm gonna try to come back tonight, man. Do the show tonight, man. I just wanted to come back because, you know, I know y'all like these daytime shows. I'm trying to do it as much as I can, man. But
you did it for the holiday. You did it for the holiday.
Yeah, I fell asleep last night, man. I had a dream, man. I had a goddamn Calgon take me away dream last night during the show, man. So I was out, dog. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm look for the community tab. I'm gonna tell you guys I'm coming through tonight. All right, man. Any final thoughts, man?
Man, I appreciate you. Even though you went to sleep, I appreciate you opening back up in the afternoon.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Salute. Same black time, same black channel. I'm out of here. Peace out.